Hey everybody, this is Theokinawakid here, and today I'm gonna talk to you about uh, the new animated DC feature film, Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons. And yeah, I already discussed like the first episode of the miniseries a little bit earlier, a couple months ago. But fortunately for me, and fortunately for everybody else, this series has been released in full as a whole complete movie with all parts included in digital format and or coming out of DVD in later this August. So with that being said, this has been my this is actually gonna be my full review of the whole series, or rather the whole movie. And for what it's worth, it's actually pretty good. Like, it's very much like a Deathstroke centric story where it pretty much tells his origin story, or rather the first story that he's involved with like him becoming like a super soldier for the United States government, a la Captain America. He basically married his love of his life, Adeline Kane. I believe that. Hopefully that's her name. Like, I'm really hoping I get the names right here. Basically, Deathstroke becomes a mercenary behind her back when they were married and have a kid, Joseph, aka Jericho, more or less. Um, so basically, around the time that basically, he's still in the middle of his mercenary work, toppling dictatorships, and he only goes after the obviously bad people in the world that deserve, to not get knocked down a peg and get chopped off, more or less. Uh, but let's just say that a certain someone by the name of the Jackal, leader of Hive, Hive is a highly famous terrorist organization within DC Comics. If you ever seen like Teen Titans, the original series, Hive is a huge big deal in that show, and also in other DC related media. So with that being said, Jackal, leader of Hive, basically went into the Deathstroke's house, beat up his wife, kidnaps Jericho, and more or less, use a hostage negotiation type of deal to try to recruit Slade into his ranks as a member of Hive. Which Deathstroke's like, nigga, I'm sorry, literally, I kind of like, um, slip of the tongue here. It's fourth habit. It's like, man, here's the thing. You kidnap my son? You kidnap, um, literally beat my wife, kidnap my son, threaten at freaking gunpoint, and force me to join you? Seriously? That's not how you recruit people. I'm a mercenary, even I think that's fucked up. So, literally, Deathstroke's like, no deal. And basically just kicks Jericho's ass, and, well, not his ass, but rather his henchman, which I'm gonna get to later. And basically Jackal's like, okay, fine. If I can't have you, I'm gonna make your life a living hell. So, literally years later, so Jericho's still missing, so his real name is Joseph Wilson, but, everybody knows him as Jericho. So Jericho's still missing. Adeline Kane, who her and Deathstroke are now divorced, obviously, because all the shit Deathstroke keeps from her for years. So literally, Adeline's like, hey, I've been, raising our son for like years, and he's been kidnapped, and it's probably all your fault. So you probably should fix this before I have to kill you. It's like, kill you? Look, you literally ruined our lives because of all your lies and secrets. It's like, yeah, but I'm doing what's best for us and literally, trying to actually be a hero that Joseph always wanted me to be. It's like, he doesn't want to be a hero, he wants a father. So, with that being said, like, obviously, basically Deathstroke has more or less his character development is making amends all the past mistakes he's done, like cheating on his wife, being mercenary, killing a bunch of people behind her back, letting the mercenary work and mercenary life interfere with his home life, and ultimately ruin their family. Also, we also get a version of Rose Wilson, who's also a member of Hive, who more or less been training Jericho into using his psychic powers and more or less like wants revenge on like Deathstroke, who more or less abandoned her and her mom. More or less, one night stand, mind you. And of course, she's pissed about that still. And then it all comes to a head where basically, Deathstroke trying to find Jericho, but ends up finding about Rose, and basically Jericho and Rose betraying him, and basically, trying to get them away from Jackal, who's basically manipulating them to overthrow the United States government. And of course, he has to save the day by teaming up with his ex-wife and his old partner Wintergreen, who's basically his Alfred, because, Wintergreen is basically the Alfred to Deathstroke's Batman in this. So it's like, okay, go Wintergreen. I love him. I love this version of him. He's awesome. He's just awesome in this movie. He's like a black British version of Alfred, which is, I love it. So with that being said, Deathstroke then goes to face off against the Jackal, who is revealed that the female henchman that, Deathstroke seemingly killed, years ago, was actually Jackal's daughter, who basically he wants now revenge too, because, like, everybody wants revenge on Deathstroke, because Deathstroke is literally that much of a fuck-up. So, with that being said, like, the Jackal's still pissed that, you killed my daughter, man, what the hell? It's like, you kidnapped my son first? Yeah, but that was just generic supervillain stuff, but this, you crossed the line, Slade. It's like, motherfucker. Like, yeah. Needless to say, Deathstroke in this film is not having a good day, or a good life, I guess. Also, with that being said, there's also a running theme of this series where it's like, the reason why it's called Knights and Dragons is because Deathstroke is the figurative and almost literal knight in, like, Joseph's favorite fairy tale, like a knight slaying dragon that protects the land and fights for valor and shit. Very St. George type of shit. So with that being said, yeah, he's literally, like, his whole life is framed in a format of a storybook where he's the noble knight that slays dragons and protects the innocent, but he's anything but. Which he comes to realize that, and he kind of modeled himself after that fairy tale because, like I said before, Slade wants to be the knight that his son can can actually look up to. Which even Madeline Kane's like, that is just bullshit. You know it. You're delusional, Slade. So with that being said, that's that, and not to mention the fact that, Slade has to come to realize that his life is not perfect. He's not a perfect man. He made mistakes, gruesome mistakes in his past, and he has to make amends for it. So I like the character growth that Slade does. He's not an outright villain. He's actually a pretty good example of an anti-hero. He's a flawed human being who believes he's doing the right thing, but ends up causing more trouble than not, and he has to fix it. So with that being said, that's kind of like my whole review of Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons, the whole movie. And of course, there's like a fake out ending where it's like, oh man, Deathstroke might have died. No, he's still alive because he's basically Deadpool before Deadpool was his thing. So it's like, of course he's gonna live. So with that being said, spoilers if you haven't seen this. I mean, come on, it's gotta be like, it's like your typical action movies type of scenario where it's like, oh, maybe he died after that mission. No, he's still alive. It's very much like a Rambo situation or like something like that. But other than that, this has been Deathstroke Knights and Dragons review, and I'm the Okinawa Kid. And sorry it has been a while, but I have life and school stuff to worry about. So this has been my review, and I'll see you later, guys.